you ever felt your phone vibrate, looked down and seen a name that sends a chill straight through your soul? A name you haven't seen in years, because the person it belongs to is dead. They say grief can play tricks on the mind, that longing can manifest in strange ways. But what if it's not just grief? What if that ringing phone isn't an illusion, but a connection reaching across the veil? Tonight, we delve into the Heartland's unsettling archive, unearthing allegedly true accounts of disturbing calls from the dead. These aren't just ghost stories. They're encounters facilitated by the very technology we hold in our hands every day. In the next 20 minutes, we'll explore 3 chilling narratives, stories that question the boundary between life and death, and the terrifying possibility that sometimes the departed don't just linger, they reach out. I promise you, by the end of this, you might think twice the next time you answer an unknown number, especially in the dead of night. Stay with us, if you dare. We begin with a call that shattered a young woman's reality, proving that some connections are never truly severed. Story 1. The Static Voice. Sarah was 22 when her grandmother passed. It was sudden, a heart attack in her sleep. They'd been incredibly close. Grandma Eleanor wasn't just family. She was Sarah's confidant, her anchor in a turbulent youth. The silence Eleanor left behind was deafening, a constant ache in Sarah's chest. 3 months went by, a blur of grief and forced smiles. Sarah kept her grandmother's old number saved in her phone, a digital relic she couldn't bear to delete. Sometimes late at night, she'd stare at the contact, tempted to call, just to hear the voicemail message one last time. She never did. Too painful. One Tuesday evening, Sarah was studying for midterms, buried under textbooks, the apartment silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. Her phone rang, startling her. She glanced at the caller ID, unknown number. Usually she'd ignore it, assuming spam, but something made her hesitate, a strange prickle of unease. She answered. "Hello?" Sarah said, her voice tentative. Silence, thick and heavy, punctuated only by crackling static, like a bad connection on a stormy night. "Hello? Is anyone there?" Still nothing but the oppressive static. Annoyed, Sarah was about to hang up when a sound emerged from the noise. A faint whisper, distorted, almost lost in the interference. It sounded like breathing. Slow, ragged breathing. "Who is this?" Sarah demanded, a knot tightening in her stomach. The breathing continued for a moment, then stopped. The static surged, and through it, a single word slithered out. A word that made Sarah's blood run cold. "Psst. Ara." It wasn't just the word, it was the voice. Distorted, yes, like listening through layers of water and static, but underneath, it was unmistakably Eleanor. Sarah dropped the phone as if it had burned her. It clattered onto the floor, the static-filled whisper still audible. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Impossible. It couldn't be. Her hands trembled as she picked up the phone and slammed the end call button. She sat there shaking, staring at the blank screen. Grief, she told herself. Stress, lack of sleep. Her mind was playing tricks. But the calls didn't stop. Every few days, always from an unknown number, always late at night. Always the same pattern. Oppressive static, the sound of ragged breathing, and then that distorted, waterlogged whisper of her name. Or sometimes, just a single, chilling syllable that sounded like a sigh. Sarah tried blocking unknown numbers, but they still came through. She changed her number eventually, but the memory lingered, a constant, cold reminder. Was it truly her grandmother, reaching out from beyond? Or was it something else, mimicking a familiar voice through the static veil between worlds? She never found out. But even now, years later, the sound of phone static in the quiet of the night brings back that icy dread. Some connections, it seems, echo long after the line goes dead. What unseen forces might be listening through our own devices, waiting for a moment of weakness to make their call? The next story suggests the danger isn't always from the distant past, but sometimes from something much, much closer. Story 2. The number you have dialed, Mark, was a long-haul trucker, accustomed to the solitude of the open road and the strange hours. His rig was his home away from home, the CB radio his main companion. But he always called his wife, Linda, every night before turning in, no matter where he was parked. It was their ritual, a connection back to normalcy in his transient life. One particularly grueling trip took him through the desolate stretches of West Texas. Flat, empty land stretching to the horizon, the only light coming from his headlights and the distant stars. He pulled into a deserted rest stop around 2 a.m., the air thick with summer heat. Exhausted, he reached for his cell, ready for Linda's comforting voice. He dialed her number, the one he knew by heart. Instead of the familiar ring, he got a recorded message. Not the usual, "Your call cannot be completed as dialed," but something off. The voice was metallic, synthesized, yet strangely halting. "The number you have dialed is..." Static burst. "No longer among the living." Mark frowned. Weird. Maybe a network glitch out here in the middle of nowhere. He tried again. Same message. "The number you have dialed is..." Static burst. "No longer among the living." A cold dread began to seep into his exhaustion. This wasn't a standard telco message. He checked the number he dialed. It was Linda's, correct to the last digit. His fingers felt numb as he tried a third time. This time the message changed. The same metallic voice, but faster, almost frantic. "He sees you." Static. "Stop. Looking back. He is..." Louder static burst. "Behind." The call ended abruptly. Mark froze, the phone still pressed to his ear. "He sees you. Stop looking back." His eyes darted to the rearview mirror. The rest stop was pitch black behind him, swallowed by the Texas night. Nothing, just empty asphalt and the faint outline of scrub brush. But the message, it felt personal, targeted. He locked the cab doors, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He tried calling Linda again, and this time it rang through. She answered, sleepy but concerned. He didn't tell her about the messages. How could he explain? He just needed to hear her voice, to know she was okay. He didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the truck, every distant howl of wind sounded like a threat. He kept glancing in his mirrors, expecting to see something. When dawn finally broke, he drove away from that rest stop faster than he ever had before. He never received those messages again, but the memory remains, a chilling reminder of that night in the Texas wasteland. Was it a sophisticated prank, a bizarre system error, or was something truly ancient and malevolent lurking in the darkness of the Heartland, using the phone lines as its hunting ground? Sometimes the call isn't from someone you've lost, but from something you never wanted to find. Our final story tonight is perhaps the most disturbing, involving not just a voice, but a plea that defied death itself. Story 3. Mommy's voicemail. Brenda lost her 7-year-old daughter Lily to leukemia. The grief was an ocean threatening to drown her. Her husband, Tom, tried to be strong for both of them, but the house felt hollow, echoing with the ghost of Lily's laughter. Lily had loved Brenda's phone, especially leaving silly voicemail messages for herself when Brenda wasn't looking. After Lily passed, Brenda couldn't bring herself to clear out her voicemail inbox. Hearing Lily's bright, innocent voice was both agony and solace. About 6 months after the funeral, Brenda was having a particularly rough day. Tears streamed down her face as she scrolled through old photos of Lily on her phone. Suddenly, the voicemail notification popped up. One new message. Strange, she hadn't heard the phone ring. With trembling hands, she accessed her inbox. The message began with the usual automated timestamp, but the voice that followed wasn't Lily's usual cheerful tone. It was small, weak, and filled with an eerie, echoing quality, like speaking from the bottom of a well. "Mommy?" Brenda gasped, dropping the phone onto the couch. It was Lily's voice, but wrong, faded, distant. She snatched the phone back up, pressing it hard against her ear. "Mommy, it's cold here." Another pause filled with faint, echoing static. "Where are you, Mommy? I can't find you." The desperation in that small, echoing voice tore Brenda apart. It sounded so lost, so scared. "Mommy, help." Then the message ended abruptly, replaced by the dial tone. Brenda listened to it again and again, tears blurring her vision. Was this real? A cruel prank? Some technical glitch recycling an old message? But this wasn't one of Lily's playful recordings. This was different, terrifyingly different. She played it for Tom, whose face went pale. He agreed it was Lily's voice, but couldn't explain the echoing quality or the chilling content. They contacted the phone company, desperate for answers. The technicians were baffled. There was no record of an incoming call at that time, no source for the message. It had simply appeared. The voicemail remained on Brenda's phone, a haunting digital specter. She listened to it sometimes, torn between the horror and a desperate, illogical hope. Was her little girl trapped somewhere cold and dark? Was this a genuine plea from beyond, a final, heartbreaking message carried across the impossible divide by love and fear? Or is grief itself a phantom, capable of manipulating technology and memory in ways we can barely comprehend? The question lingers, cold and unanswered in the digital silence. Static whispers from a beloved grandmother, synthesized warnings from the desolate roadside, a child's chilling plea from an impossible place. 3 stories, 3 calls that defy explanation, leaving behind only icy dread and unanswered questions. Are these mere glitches in the system, tricks of a grieving mind, or tangible proof that the line between our world and the next is thinner and more porous than we dare to imagine? Perhaps the calls we should fear most aren't from unknown numbers, but from the voices we thought were silenced forever. Thank you for joining us in the Heartland, where the past is never truly buried, and sometimes it even has your number. If you have your own unsettling encounter you'd like to share, visit our submission link in the description below. Your story could be featured in our archive. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next descent into American folklore and true scary stories. Until next time, stay safe and perhaps keep your phone on silent.